Good morning, everybody. Today is the last day of April, April 30th, and it's a Thursday, and we are here for a work session. And Councilwoman WASKI, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any announcements this morning that they'd like to make from the board?
Sure. So, this Saturday morning at 8:30, bring your bicycles to Doroski Park for the PAL Bike Rodeo. I think at 8:30 p.m.
AM.
Somebody, my notes, they did this on purpose.
Yeah.
It's 8:30 a.m. Okay.
Sorry.
It's always such a great event. It's so well
It
attended.
is,
It's nice to see the kids out riding their bicycle. They're not on any handheld devices. They've got their hands on the steering wheel and they're chugging along. It's great.
Challenges there too for the little kids there, some of the courses,
Yeah.
little figure eights and so forth. They do a great job.
And I think the 8 p.m. was my typo for the America 250, which is tomorrow night at the Suffolk Theater, the Great American Bash. It's almost sold out, so make sure if you would like to be there, because it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great time. There's going to be costume contest, dress in your period pieces, and that would be awesome. And we also have the 4th Before the 4th coming up in Grangeville Park, and there'll be more details soon. So, anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to thank everybody that came out from the community for the anti-litter spring cleanup. It was a very well-attended event. The anti-litter committee has put together a short video that once it's approved by the town, we're going to put out on social media to show the great efforts of the residents of the town. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And I'll thank the Rotary Club on behalf of the Veterans Advisory Committee. So we got most of the banners up this weekend, and our building and grounds crew was even out yesterday repairing a few other ones that were broken, and we'll have some of the rest of the ones up this weekend. And so we're getting prepped and ready for Memorial Day to honor those that gave their lives in the line of duty. But also the veteran banners will hang up. They'll come down partially during the summer months for the 250 celebration. But then all the veterans banners will be back up in place for Veterans Day. So thank you very much for the Rotary's help. They were phenomenal, large group. So many members came out, and it was a lot quicker to get them up this year. So thanks.
Outstanding. Anybody else? All right. Well, with that, concluding, did you have something, Bob?
No.
Okay.
Thanks.
Well, we have our open session starting with, we're going to begin with matters surrounding a presentation by the Business Improvement Management Association, the BIDMA, and Councilwoman WASKI.
Thank you. Come on up, guys.
Thank you.
All three of you, come on.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
So I am very excited to have you guys here this morning. BIDMA has hired a new executive director, Melissa Martin. If you guys
Hi.
want
Hi, nice to meet you.
state your names for everybody so that the public knows who you are.
Great, thank you. Yeah, Melissa Martin. So I'm the new executive director here for BIDMA.
My name is Wendy Weiss. I'm the Executive Director of the East End Arts Council and the Vice President of the BIDMA.
And I'm Gary Hagum, Director of the Suffolk and President of the BID.
So at our last BIDMA meeting, Melissa Martin did a presentation of the ideas and the focus for the Business Improvement District. And I was moved to tears practically because finally the vision that I have seen for downtown came alive at that meeting. And I said, please, please, please come to a work session and let the public see what you are working on. So I thank you for coming in this morning, and board, I think that you are going to be so happy after you see this presentation. So thank you for all that you put into it.
Thank you.
No pressure, though.
No.
You're gonna try.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'll go up to my
Absolutely
presentation.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Should we get the tissues out now or wait till afterwards?
Really good. I'm telling you, it's like.
No, it was great that you were
Head
so.
up here and do it, or?
So I'm casting to one of the screens. I don't think you'll be able to see this as well. Is
And
that
I
okay?
can assure
guys
you
see that?
You don't have to ask her any questions through the presentation. She's going to cover everything, so any questions, keep them till the end.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how I'll start as well, and just saying that, this presentation shows the process and, how we approached research, the data, comparisons to other business improvement districts, what's happening on Long Island, and our audiences. It really takes into consideration heavily who we speak to. So that's what I'm sharing here in this presentation. And then we get to the really good stuff at the end. So, okay, moving right along. Okay, so our downtown Riverhead messaging architecture. Our brand promise is that we are the authentic gateway to the East End. We're a year-round walkable hub where historic maritime soul meets a bold new craft culture. It is the only destination that bridges the gap between New York City energy and the tranquility of the two forks. So this is where we are putting together all of the messaging. This is that core of where we want to go with how we promote downtown Riverhead. So this is also how we build from here. The three key points being considered are our core value and unfiltered authenticity. Unlike the curated perfection of the Hamptons, Riverhead offers real history, diverse flavors, and an approachable luxury. The primary differentiator is that it's bimodal access, the physical and cultural midpoint between the North Fork and agritourism and the South Fork. It's also a crawlable or walkable downtown. Everything from soul food to award-winning breweries, everything's within a 10-minute walk. And some really great food, for sure, really great. So here we start our strategic marketing plan. This was where we really did a deep dive into our research. So the multi-source research of this data, this was pulled from many different sources, and it puts us in a very important market position. So here we have downtown Riverhead is currently emerging from a transitional phase into a prime destination status. It serves as the geographic and cultural gateway to the East End. And while adjacent hubs, Huntington and Patchogue, have matured, Riverhead retains a unique, unfiltered maritime soul that appeals to modern authenticity seekers. And in marketing today, as you may all know, authenticity is key, and that's what we are. Another thing I'd just like to share off of this, if everyone can see, right? Is that okay? Okay, great. So yeah, our opportunities here are our infrastructure. The Town Square project creates a massive physical anchor. Our audience shift. We've seen increasing escape from New York City demographics, moving east from New York City and into Suffolk County. And then we have the unique asset, the Long Island downtown with integrated riverfront and historic theater district. So this is key information that I will use as the marketing approach. I mean, that's my background, right? Is everything marketing and strategy. So this is really important in guiding where we're going to be amplifying our messages to our audiences. Now on the left, we are going to deep dive into the personas, but you'll see the personas that we have to start with. There are 6 of them: the curated connoisseur, family visitors, cultural explorers. We'll get into those in a minute, but this is basically what is feeding where we post on social. What groups should we be a part of? Where is it really valuable to put out press, and really reach people? There's News 12 on this list, physical signage, LinkedIn, different things. So this is just something to kind of explain where the strategy comes from. Brand positioning and messaging. This is our building block. These statements are not necessarily forward-facing. We will get to those in a moment, but these are the pillars for us to create from. So our positioning statement. Downtown Riverhead is the authentic soul of the East End, a walkable riverfront junction where craft culture meets historic grit. We offer an unfiltered experience for those who value discovery. So this is the pillars, the gateway, junction of the forks, the craft farm to pint density here, and the stage. We're an artsy, historic culture here. Okay, so this is a high-level look at our initial measurables. I know that's something that we talked about, Supervisor, a little bit. So this is just regarding our initial marketing strategy. These are the types of metrics that we can aim for. So while we discuss these numbers as initial goals, these are reachable benchmarks and a great place to start. So with each initiative that we take on, we'll have different metrics for those. But for this is that overall high level. We would like to see an increase of 20% of foot traffic, an increase in 20% year-round visitors, measured by mobile location data, check-ins, and visible economic growth for businesses. One of our key things now that we need to do all the time, and that I know I'm out there doing, is making sure that we're constantly connecting with our businesses downtown and hearing from them their challenges, pain points, goals, things like that. So that's going to feed into also knowing that economic growth. What are you guys seeing out here? So that's that one metric. Then we look at digital and our online, a 3.5 times engagement. So that's like that 3.5x growth in saves and shares for digital content and that engagement level. So we're going to be really looking at that in like a finite way. And 40% beautification. As a business improvement district, one of the key goals that we need to have in our mission is to increase in high visibility areas throughout downtown and throughout vacancies, really beautify it, right? And have that visible improvement as we move along, so. Okay, channel strategy and tactics. This is where we're now integrating themes and tactics to take in order to increase our engagement numbers, and it all starts online. Our member relationships are also a key factor here, like I just talked about, working together to come up with offers and promotions that connect our efforts to each of these businesses, and that's where we're really going to grow. So that's where we're going to reach those benchmarks by highlighting what downtown Riverhead really has to offer and amplifying events that achieve this enhanced traffic as well. That was something we talked about even starting with the 4th before the 4th, really driving check-ins and, bringing the businesses into it, even though the event takes place in Grangeville Park. So that's what this talks about. So digital enhancement, I'll get into a little bit of what you see on the slide here, social channels. A day in Riverhead approach, using spotlights, beauty shots, and video clips. This is something we plan on integrating. Our SEO enhancement is big, identifying and improving relevant keywords on our site. So we need to be searchable online as well. Experiential and local. So this is where we talk about curating offers with our businesses, visible promotions, driving traffic, and nurturing those partnerships. And our event marketing, which is what I was just talking about with our, between the 4th before the 4th, our cardboard boat race, like really amplifying and working together with our partners to really reach further with each event. So some campaign concepts. This ties into something we've been discussing in our collaboration meetings. We'll start implementing, like I just mentioned, with types of check-ins like scavenger hunts and QR codes. So the Riverhead Loop. This is something that is kind of an idea that in our summer and our peak season, we could really play on that with a digital kind of pass or map, encouraging visitors to hit possibly one beverage spot, one restaurant, one cultural venue to unlock a local legend merch item or an offer. Now they get an offer they could go use somewhere. And then in the quieter times, the winter or the shoulder seasons, that's where we really want to focus on that winter warm-up, focusing on the indoor appeal of downtown Riverhead. Theater shows, gallery promotions, tasting opportunities, aquarium tours that combat those seasonal dips. All right, and here's where we get into some of our key personas who we need to speak to every day. This is based on the data collected, and it's a deep dive of demographic information combined with pain points, decision triggers, and motivations. So I don't expect everybody to, be able to kind of look at all of this on the screen right now and digest it, but I'll kind of go over a high level of some key points. So the first persona is the cultural explorer. So the kinds of demographics that we're looking at, so we know how to market to them, is age range, who are they demographically, but then even more so, their lifestyle and preferences. So the cultural explorer, they value authenticity over flashiness. They're artisanal consumers. They love history. They love craft beverages, wine. They're civic-minded. This is the kind of persona that would prefer an intimate jazz setting or a theater performance as opposed to a stadium concert type of thing. So their motivation and decision triggers are really huge. The interest level, which we just talked about, and then their barriers or pain points. So what are they concerned about? They might be concerned about parking availability during peak event times. Their perception gaps, a lingering outdated reputation of Riverhead versus its current revitalization. So they need to hear, this is the new Riverhead, Our next audience is the business and investor persona. So this is where, we want to fill those vacant spaces, right, in downtown Riverhead on Main Street, and this helps us understand that key audience that we want to attract, the business. So this business type might be mid-market developers, boutique hospitality groups, craft beverage entrepreneurs. They specialize in urban fringe revitalization. So with that, this gives us a little bit of an investment range, what they might be looking for, where they come from, primarily New York City-based firms looking for yield outside of those 5 boroughs, or locals expanding, right? We saw that happen too from the North Fork with, I think, a new yoga studio that we're getting in downtown. So that's awesome. And their background is decades of experience in real estate finance, culinary arts, or urban planning. They often have a track record in Patchogue or in Asbury Park, New Jersey. So their objectives is early entry into the next big thing. So this is where we could put it out there. It's kind of like that FOMO, right? The next big thing. Legacy building through historic preservation and capturing the gateway traffic. That's going to be their goal. Their decision triggers are these market readiness signals, infrastructure, social proof is huge. Successive events and occupancy in the newly renovated anchors in town. Their barriers and concerns, some risk factors might be the perception of safety or vagrancy in certain pockets. They don't want to have to deal with a ton of red tape. They're going to have some concerns about this. But the mitigation of this is, that there is that downtown revitalization initiative. So that provides a little bit of a safety net for new investors. Our next persona is our craft beverage enthusiast. And, so they also value authenticity, lo-fi luxury, and hyper-localism. That's huge for them. They might be interested in culinary, home brewing, urban exploration, indie music, things like that. So they're day trippers. They might be from Western Suffolk, Nassau County. And their decision triggers, they do a lot of research. They select destinations based on the variety density and the ability to visit 3 different tasting rooms without moving their car. So that walkability is huge for them. This is great for those check-ins on Instagram. We really want to reach them to be checking in and spreading the word. This is, couples on dates or groups of friends. So again, this just repeats, their interest. The key attractions for them would be breweries and the distillery. It's all walkable. We have some great food here. Saturday afternoon loops would be great for them. And their barriers to entry would just be that parking perception. They just need to know there is parking, the walkability's there, and the operating hours they're all available to them. Okay, our day tripping couples. This audience, primarily Western Suffolk and Eastern Nassau County, they're committed couples. They value authenticity, Instagrammable aesthetics, supporting local artisans, and also dog-friendly accessibility. So their motivations, they have that interest in craft beverages, beer, cider, spirit trail. They will also value the scenic Peconic River Walk experience. And their triggers are also seasonal festivals, live theater announcements, art events, and those perfect weather weekends. Their barriers and pain points which we want to mitigate is that parking anxiety. Make sure that, we could mitigate this by providing clear, easy parking maps on our website or in what we're promoting, driving them to that. We could also promote to them off-peak Sunday visits or late afternoon starts. And the content we want to share is high energy for them, so there's no empty perception there. Our family visitor persona is very important to us as well, of course. So families have a motivator of screen-free bonding time, escaping those digital distractions for real experiences. And educational entertainment, combining fun with learning, seasonal traditions, from festivals to pumpkin picking, holiday lights. They seek walkability, cleanliness, and safety. They're also very active on social media. They want that discovery, and they do their research. So this is where we could, really amplify Instagram. We could even, be sharing things on certain blogs or groups that we find. And they're going to constantly be checking reviews, make sure things are kid-friendly and safe. Their decision-making factors are based definitely on, parking availability, checking the weather, knowing that, when they get there, it's going to work. And our local residents, this is a huge one for us as well. I mean, really, our Riverhead locals, our route is large. We encompass a big area, Riverhead town and beyond. So their values, social continuity, visiting spots where they're known by name. They have a civic pride. Seeing downtown Riverhead outshine other areas gives them a lot of pride. Their goal is legacy, ensuring the town remains viable for their children and grandchildren as grandparents to stay. Their advocacy trigger new business openings, and their passion point is the riverfront access. That's huge for them as well. Okay, so here is where we slow down and land. On the next slide, I will share the new Downtown Riverhead BID's mission statement. And this has taken into consideration the 6 personas we spoke about, as well as the pillars and the strategy for marketing and promotion. Our new mission statement: to cultivate a thriving, walkable downtown Riverhead as the nexus of the East End by embracing its unique historic character and arts culture while championing sustainable economic investment, authentic community experiences, and year-round vitality for local businesses, residents, and visitors alike. Our core taglines in our messaging boil down to these 3 favorites which we had. Downtown Riverhead, craft your experience. This speaks to the modern culture. It connects the farm to table and farm to pint culture with the arts and theater scene. Unfiltered, authentic downtown Riverhead speaks to our identity. It leans into the grit chic appeal for millennial and Gen Z travelers. and downtown Riverhead, the soul of the East End. This also speaks to our authenticity, contrasting the grit and soul of Riverhead and its maritime soul, right? And finally, these are our supporting belief statements. We believe our maritime soul and architectural grit are our greatest assets. We don't need to be polished to be premier, and we are a stage for all. We believe downtown Riverhead is a living theater where diverse culinary, artistic, and social experiences create a shared community legacy. Enjoyed everything.
Well, you really expanded since your original production.
What's that?
You really put a lot more into it.
Oh. I was trying to explain a little bit more, today and deep dive into it. And yeah, we did land on our polished mission statement. I hope you liked it.
Very good. Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
It's very nice to see that somebody else finds the potential for our downtown and what is going to be. And I really appreciate that, because I take it personally when I hear people or read people bashing Riverhead. Recently, somebody just put a video out, some kind of, he thinks he's a comedian or something, and he totally bashed our town. And that hurt, because that is not the Riverhead that I know, and not the Riverhead that I know that is coming. And to see your vision, I love it, because this is what we need. We need positivity. We need to stop the negativity. Move forward, embrace downtown, help the businesses that are open downtown right now. They need everybody's help. Go down there, shop down there, eat down there, whatever, walk the riverfront. Just be Riverhead right now.
Yes.
Because we are headed in the greatest direction possible for downtown.
Thank you. Thank you so
So,
much.
Melissa, we haven't unwrapped the package yet because, we're developing, right? So
Yes.
I can understand why people might go, oh, look at Riverhead, it's
Sure.
this or it's
Exactly.
that, big deal, who cares, right?
Exactly.
But you had me at events. I love the fact that you are considering all different age groups and events, which we all know are extremely important. One of the things that I just, that's always been a little bit of an issue for me, nothing to do with the bid, but I've asked for wayfinding signs on 25 and on Sound Avenue, because, we have so many people driving on Sound Avenue, not even knowing that, whatever, 2.5 miles to the riverfront, restaurants, whatever it may be, and we're not taking advantage of alerting those people that we have this downtown. So just something I'm just going to throw out there, and maybe you want to just, pencil in on your list.
Yep, I'll be
I
sure.
know East End Arts has done, it's really world-class now, and I say it all the time, but and I see the people that are attending the shows, and you're attracting a lot of people that are not from here, and I think that the way you get people not only that are from here, but out of here, is by creating the right environments and the right events. We'll vacuum those people in, all those people, our local people and people from outside. So, and I love your little taglines.
Oh, thank you.
Written
Thank
sheet,
you.
okay.
Thank you.
But
Yes, and just even to respond to something that Joanne mentioned too, we also want to share with our businesses and beyond downtown Riverhead too, give them the messaging that they would know and be able to repeat to customers about downtown Riverhead. So one of the things is North Fork Chocolate Company, right? They have the 2 locations, and the North Fork location, what she hears, she hears some negativity when she's like, oh, if you'd like to get lunch, you could go to our Main Street location. And she hears some negative feedback from some people that are local. So we hope to sort of arm them with messages that they could respond when that happens. So it makes it easy. They don't have to sound defensive or anything like that. Just kind of prepare them with some things that would mitigate that kind of negativity. So that's what we're hoping to do as well, and spread that through the businesses and beyond. So, everyone is kind of guiding tourism and locals around the East End and around Riverhead,
I
so.
think that's coming, as we continue to develop, we'll attract more people, and I know people may not understand this, but bail reform plays a big part of that, in general, not only for our community, but across communities in New York State. But the more people, the more things we have to attract people, they're going to outnumber any of that negativity. And positivity will, outnumber that, so.
With that proof too, right? Yeah, just
I think
seeing
so.
it happen.
I think the hope that you're bringing through this, and I love the direction, this is exciting, and Joanne, thank you for bringing them in. This is just incredible because between the arts, the theater, there's so much that's already happening in downtown, and there's always going to be that voice that tells people that there isn't, but we're going to drown that out with this good, and what a great direction. It's going to be infectious. That'll go into Polish Town, 2nd Street. There's businesses everywhere that are going to benefit from this new direction and your purpose behind all of the things that you're doing. So thank you for putting this time in and doing this and making the effort. And I think all the businesses are going to reap the rewards of your efforts. So thank you.
So I think for many years, we all know the potential Riverhead has always been holding and waiting for that day. And I think this is great because I think you're actually a great burst of energy, like to kind of move things forward and create the level of excitement that actually will then motivate people, to get up off the couch, get in the car and come on down to Riverhead, enjoy the events and do the things. Because we keep talking about the potential. And now I think when you sit here today, we're like, it's starting now. And so here it is, it's arrived and we're working on it, and come visit downtown Riverhead. So thank you for the big burst of energy today. Thanks.
And I did mention the theater.
Denise
I
wants to
just,
say something.
I'm sorry, Ms. Martin, I just wanted to mention something quick. You talked about the railroad increasing service from Ronkonkoma to Riverhead. Is there anything underway about that you're
That was
aware of?
something, I would like to actually follow up on that because this was actually some sources that I use in terms of like data and pulling research, and I saw that and I said, oh, I wonder who I could contact to find out more about that, because I do believe that that's happening and I think it will continue to grow. So yeah, I'm happy to actually follow up on that for you and
I
let
saw
you
it
know.
on the screen.
Yeah, and it was, right, yeah, it was a data point, and that's something that, there's everything that I actually pulled through this program that I use. It has links to follow up on that, so I will do that for you.
I just had my office reach out to MTA, and we're scheduling a meeting with them.
Oh.
So, I'll let you guys know when that is, and we would love to have them in because we want to increase the service there. So we see that as a vital part. So great
We also
question.
signed letters
And it's
to
good.
Legislator Doroski, who's sitting here as well, in support to increase that service. To come out here.
Fantastic.
It works. It's been requested.
To your point about I'm
Sorry.
Wendy, I'm
So I was just going to say to Matt, thinking about that too, give a little bit of history into that. In 1975, East End Arts Council teamed up with the MTA to do this initiative called Art Train, where they actually turned railroad cars into art galleries, and they took them to, I think it was 3 to 5 different stations, starting in Riverhead. So like whoever talks to the MTA, and maybe that's something to throw into like this, there used to be a really culturally collaborative relationship here, and how cool would it be if we could repeat that?
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So I have books about it. I'll send everyone the PDF of the book.
Please do.
That'd be great. Just getting back to your point about it's part of the walkability. The train station is not way out at the end of the town. It's very close
Yes.
by. You walk from the train right to downtown. Walkability on Main Street, from the aquarium to the town square and all along on the strip there.
Yes.
And a lot of great things are coming, especially your art gallery. That looks amazing. That looks fantastic down
So
there.
unique, and
And obviously the theater.
I gotta tell you, the train is or the sliding on the South Fork, because I was in the Hamptons for many years, and Montauk exploded due almost 100% to train. And took over almost every other Hampton at that point in popularity. Simply because they could train in, walk into town, spend their time. Now, not that Riverhead is a great comparison to Montauk, but if we could get the train in more, I mean, you follow your demographic and where your audience comes from closely, as do I, which really helps craft who is coming to Riverhead and where they're coming from. And we draw all the time from Western Suffolk and Nassau County heavily. So a train would be a huge step in the right direction. That's a big hurdle, though,
yeah,
and out of our control, but we'll try.
we could try.
But this is a great, and the thing that I'm so happy about that we finally got this done after a year working on this. Thank you, Melissa. But this gives us a path forward, and I think gives you guys a clearer picture of where we want to go as a bid, and the shift in direction, that it is more focused on driving business and helping businesses here, and thinking of Riverhead not as an individual, come to my shop, come to my, restaurant, but come to downtown. And kind of we're all in this together, and this town should be thriving more than it is. So hopefully with a real added focus on bringing in the right businesses too. We did a walk from one end of Main Street to the other with our board. And if you haven't done it recently, I recommend it. It's enlightening to really get a look at what the town is, what the businesses that are available, and looking into some of these available properties on Main Street. They are spectacular. They are beautiful, adorable storefronts that are crying for the right businesses. So hopefully we can focus on that, much like now apparently Greenport is doing, and focus on driving the right businesses into Main Street, that fit the vibe that we're looking for. So.
And I think it's important for us to not say great things are coming. Great things are here now. Over the weekend, I went to the Suffolk Theater to see To Kill a Mockingbird, which was fantastic, Gary. Ran into Councilman Kern there as well. It appeared to me to be a sold-out show. And we went to the Rendezvous for dinner. We had to make a reservation. The Rendezvous was packed. There wasn't a seat available for anybody. It was great to see things going on downtown. And we walked from the Rendezvous to the Suffolk Theater, and we passed by the Riverhead Flower Shop, and it was adorable in there. To see like the little trinkets that you could buy. They had jewelry and scarves, and not just flowers. It's like those are the little businesses that are down there that need the foot traffic, need people to go down there now, because there are great spaces down there.
Yes, wonderful.
And Gary, I talked about East End Arts, and to your point, you are bringing people in, so people know these little jewels, right? And the theater, and I think you get about 80% of your clientele is from out of town?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that tell you? I mean, when we put the right things in place, we will attract those people and locals like ourselves. I saw Joanne there. The other day. And that was the second time that I've seen a performance there, and you know what to pick.
Yeah.
The first one was 12 Angry Men, which was like phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You know what you're doing. That's on record.
Hey, by the way, so do you. So do you. Put that on the record.
I'm at the theater a lot. I love it.
So, and that's something that if it's of interest to anyone, I mean, certainly I pull demographic data all the time. I can share that with you guys just so you kind of know who's coming from where, Not personal data, obviously, but percentages from what areas of the island.
And as businesses share information, like I know you have, but the way theater has always worked, best promotion is you have what's coming up next, right? When you walk through the lobby, right? So if an art show is promoted there, if you're promoting something for the theater, and as things grow and everybody's co-promoting, it makes a huge difference.
One of the things we were really trying to focus on was creating branding for this area, and it felt like it took forever for us to find the executive director, but I think that was really just the universe working in our favor, because Missy's the perfect background and personality to take all of our wild thoughts and put it into something that's an actually actionable plan that can make sense. And, brand is so important these days. You can't just be a place, you can't just be a shop, you can't just be a thing, you can't just be a theater. You have to have this personality, and this area has such a personality, and we just wanted to sort of outfit it. And this downtown, there's nowhere out here that's downtown, and that's where that focus is. We want somebody to be in Southold and be like, oh, what do you want to do Saturday? I don't know, why don't we go downtown? And everybody knows they're talking about here.
Right, like Downport.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where and it's got that whole vibe, this little micro-urbanism to it, that really helps that. And that's where the new logo comes from. That's where all these personas are like pulling these people. It's not like any other village out here. And that's what we're trying to embrace. We're trying to embrace all of the things that are about it and not just make it something it's not.
What I love about Riverhead is what your concept about, we have it all, we really do. I mean, the beautiful scenery on the water, culture with the arts, you have friendly activities and places here, and then you have the bar and restaurant vibe as well. Some places, I'll just name it, Patchogue gets the vibe of just the bars and the restaurants and no family-friendly activities. Or Greenport, more of a cultured area and bars and restaurants, but again, no real family activity. We have it all. We have all these different things in this town, which draws that many more people. I thank you. I think this is phenomenal. That's great.
Great job. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Very much, all of you, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good job. And Gary, remember, Bob said, he said you do a good job. Our next matter is Greg Doroski, Suffolk County Legislator, matters surrounding possible land preservation opportunity with the Town of Riverhead. And Councilwoman WASKI has been working on this, and actually Anne-Marie PRUDENTI's coming up, so we're excited about this.
It's a tough act to follow.
It is.
Come on, you can do it.
That was impressive.
That was really impressive, really great work. Thank you.
Seeing with your office right around the corner, you can walk downtown
Absolutely, we
as well.
do walk downtown.
Okay.
I walked over here yesterday, actually,
Okay,
for
good.
the Peconic Estuary Partnership meeting.
Good.
And it's right there. I would have walked today, but it was drizzly,
Oh, come on.
Grab an umbrella, big guy.
Exactly. So just wanted to talk about our ability to boost partnership opportunities with Suffolk County and land preservation. And I'd like us to be careful just talking about too many specifics about this project, just because it is an open acquisition. But this is an acquisition that, as the supervisor mentioned, Councilwoman WASKI and my predecessor, Legislator Stark, have been working on for a while. It's kind of at the point where it's made its way through the staff at Suffolk County and at the EPA committee. And one of the issues that was raised at the past EPA committee is the fact that Riverhead Town does not want to partner with the county to do management of these open space acquisitions. And I just kind of wanted to use this as an opportunity both to talk about putting us in a better position to actually close this acquisition, but also boost our abilities to do more acquisitions in the future. So I think this is kind of a good test case to look at. But there is, to be frank, a real risk that this property won't close unless Riverhead Town agrees to some extent to partner. I guess just starting off, I did bring the rating sheet that Suffolk County uses. Here, just take one, pass it down. I'll wait until everyone has it. I have one for, I thought I brought 6.
I think this next year.
No, for Anne-Marie. So if you open up the second page down at the bottom, this is a 100-point scale that the county uses to rate potential parcels for acquisition. And there's a standard of 30 points to make its way to be really considered for acquisition. And there's a lot of things on here like proximity to other open space, large parcels, etc. But one of the points on there that's particularly relevant to this discussion is the intermunicipal partnership for management. That adds 6 points to the rating, which is 20% of that total to get to 30%, right? So that's kind of a big deal to get you to that point. I think there's kind of a more vague thing that we need to talk about too, in that there is a large competition for these funds in the county. And I don't want to necessarily frame it as kind of an East End versus West End competition, but there is the perception, right or wrong, that the county spends a lot of money out east to acquire land, and it's not fair to the folks up on the West End. And you add to that many of the towns on the East End have community preservation funds with funds, and they see it as the towns kind of not doing their part, not contributing their fair share to this, and like, why do we want to preserve this parcel out on the East End if X town won't agree to manage the parcel, right? And I think as I've looked at management of these parcels, and I guess I'd like to look at my experience in Southold, and I want to be careful in suggesting, or careful in discussing this, because I don't want to suggest that Riverhead Town and Southold Town are the same place, or what Southold does is what Riverhead does. But just based on my experience in Southold Town, where Southold does agree to manage these parcels, in my experience on the Southold Town Board from 2020 up until this previous year, Southold Town spent between $18,000 and $28,000 to manage 640 acres of land. So if we look at this, right, let's figure $30,000 on the high end, 640 acres. They're spending around $46 per acre to manage it. Now, most of this land that's managed by Southold Town is what they call passive recreation. So it's not like big things, it's like walking paths, maybe a parking area, really not big things, right? And as we look at that investment, and I think particularly for this case in Riverhead, where the county seems willing to spend about $2 million to acquire a parcel of land, that's a huge ROI for Riverhead. If Riverhead Town is able to acquire a parcel of land and only have to spend a little bit of money on the town's part, at least to me, that seems like a good investment. Now, looking through what's been done in Riverhead in the past, there is the Sharpers Hill acquisition that was done with Suffolk County. This started back in 2018, and close 2018, 2019, and the management agreement to it was only signed last year. So I think one of the other big fears here is that Suffolk County is going to demand all of these big things, parking lots, kiosks, whatever. And if you look at the management plan to the Sharpers Hill project, it's really just a walking path. It's I think a 5-foot wide walking path. The Riverhead Town Board in 2019 agreed to spend up to $10,000 on that management plan. And over the course of, the better part of a decade, negotiated the agreement. Now, the deal was still closed then, and it's my understanding that all of the work on that parcel hasn't been done yet. So there is, I want to be clear, some flexibility, right? Flexibility on the town's part to define what management looks like, and also timeline for completion. And again, based on my experience in Southold, we have parcels that we've acquired in 50-50 partnership with Suffolk County out there that they, years ago, they haven't started to do anything on. It's my belief that providing public access to these parcels is beneficial, both as kind of good marketing for open space preservation, so people actually see that, oh wow, it's actually really nice out here. I like walking around in the woods. We have all of this open space. It's really, really great.
I'm just going to correct you on that. I don't think we spent $10,000 on Chopper Hill. I think we spent $80,000 on the management.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're absolutely correct. It was 85,000.
That's what was approved.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't
No,
need to.
that's not for maintenance. We constructed it and created
Yeah,
the
but-
parking area, the trail.
Yes. I'm talking about just the trail itself,
Yeah.
right? Which is very, very minimal.
But it was very, very expensive, and I can tell you, because I worked on this. I picked this up when I got in office. It took forever working with the county, just so you know, because you're in a good seat now. They wanted the path to be 3 feet. And the way that grows, it would have closed up in a month and a half. So we made it 5 feet. We still are waiting on the sign for over 2 years.
Yep.
Approval from the county.
Yep.
I mean, and that's where, I'm all for this stuff, but we need better communication, and we need to get these things done on a timely basis, because, and I still get people say, where's the sign? I said, I don't know, it's the county. So I'm just giving you the heads up on that. I know you don't work, for the county.
Yeah, and I don't work for parks. And I guess I can see some of the timeline too being beneficial to the town, in that the county is not there kind of demanding that you do this work now. At least in my experience in Southold, that sort of flexibility and almost hands-off approach by the county can be beneficial, right? Where the town does have the ability to define what management looks like for them. And on this particular parcel, I think they can do very little, and it would be acceptable for the county. And for me, that would just be a simple walking path. I don't think you need to put in a huge public parking lot. I don't think that's
All
what they
right, I'm going to stop you
please.
right now.
Yes,
This is prime farmland.
yes.
This should be preserved as farmland, not open space. Not a parking lot, not walking paths, not public access to everybody that lives in Suffolk County. This is Jamesport.
Yep.
A quaint, unique area, neighborhoods surrounding it. I would rather see this developed with $5 million homes, $1 million homes, not saying $5 million homes,
Thank you.
than see a parking lot and whatever else the intention could turn into down the road. This is beach access. That would mean that people from all over Suffolk County would be coming here to access our beaches. I am not in favor of this being open space. I would like it preserved as farmland. And that is originally what legislator Catherine Stark and I were talking about. It should stay as farmland.
So this, to be clear, is the deal that was submitted by legislator Stark,
For it to be open space,
for it to be open space.
that was not my intention.
Okay, my only involvement with this is it being before the EPA committee. It was all of the appraisals, all of the project design, everything was put together, and it was my understanding that you were working with her on this.
I was.
And it
when
was-
when I originally went to her, I had sat down with the Farmland Preservation Committee, because I am the liaison to them, and we identified certain properties throughout the town of Riverhead that the Farmland Preservation wanted the legislator to look at, to assess, and see if it could be preserved as farmland. That is what I went to her for.
All right, well, this is the package that was entered in, probably more than a year ago, definitely more than a year ago. And it finally made its way to the EPA committee, which is kind of the final stop on the train. And this is what we have before us.
Okay.
It's my fear that it's my understanding there's an approved subdivision for it.
There is.
And really, we're at the point now where the choice is either to preserve it as open space or let it be developed. And I guess I just wanted to put that out there on the table. I agree with you. If I had my way, I agree. There should be farmland and there could be a buffer or something like that, but that's not the deal that was put together before my time. This is the deal that we have, and I'm just trying to bring it across the finish line. And what's preventing it from being brought across the finish line right now is that Riverhead doesn't want to manage the property.
Well, I think Riverhead doesn't want a public parking and a public access to the beach, and I know we discussed that. I shared that with you when you asked about coming to present, and meeting with, I had a meeting for a different reason yesterday, but I spoke to Councilwoman WASKI, and she talked about farmland. Richard Wines happened to be in for something else. He mentioned farmland, that this was, and I think that that's the heart of what we want. We would like to see it stay, is that if there's
Yeah, and if I may, I handed everybody just the pertinent pages from the updated Community Preservation Fund project plan.
So there's
This document was worked on for months by the Open Space Committee and Farmland Committee, both committees. The proposed preservation for this piece of property was purchase of development rights. Next, I just want to comment, you referenced that there was a project plan for this parcel. What, in the statements you made, you said they finalized the project plan. What is the plan?
No, the project plan for the Sharpers Hill was what I was referencing.
Okay.
My apologies if I was unclear.
So, I'm just going to highlight for the town board. You are correct. It took a very long time to negotiate the management agreement with the county because the county had certain demands. So, in theory, it's great when you state that the town can design its own management plan. I assure you, it has not worked that way in the past. It's the county which dictates the terms to the town. And we negotiated, Councilman Kern and I, on several aspects of that plan that were extremely expensive. If you remember, policing, garbage, lighting, so it's, perhaps Southold's been more successful, but our projects tend to be expensive.
Yeah, that and this is not, this is just open for discussion. Sharpers Hill continues to be a nightmare in terms of we still don't have a sign. I'm actually, and for me, I'm looking, we all have a fiduciary duty on this board, and for me, I'm all for selling development rights, but there's not, a million farmers knocking at the door to farm that property. So if there's a subdivision or, somebody, I want to look at that too from a tax standpoint. What's going to benefit the taxpayers the most? Because we do have, and I know this was, you inherited this, you didn't.
Absolutely, and I guess we don't need to get too far in the weeds on the tax discussion, but I think it is useful because you did bring it up on the 4-H property as well.
I think that's the most crucial thing. So our residents have responded resoundingly concerned about our yearly budget, our increase over the past few years. So the things that we have to look at, we are an agricultural community, but every time we take a parcel off the tax map, the remaining residents of the town have to pick up that cost. So as a for example, on a simplest note, if it's 10 houses in there and they're going to contribute $10,000 each and it's $100,000 a year, in property tax gains, that's what the remaining residents of the town are going to be forced to make up, or decide that, okay, we're going to keep absorbing more and more properties, the reality is, what's there, 6,800 acres left? If we took them all in, our residents would be paying $100,000 a year in property taxes. It's not a realistic thing, but that's where we're elected to do, is to protect the taxpayer. So I am all for land preservation and for farmland. I love the idea of, perhaps, this person selling the development rights is one aspect, but we still keep it on a tax roll, and we have an active farming community, and there's still great benefits, and they're still paying taxes. I myself, owned land that the development rights are sold on it, and I'm paying $50,000 a year in property taxes, more than that. So I'm still a contributor to the tax base. When we take this off and we remove it as open space, we go down to zero, and that's we have to tell the taxpayers really what we're doing. So every time we take something off the roll, we're looking around the town and going, everybody else has got to make it up. And that's, same thing with the 4-H. We said, well, they're only paying $1,500 a year because they're a nonprofit organization. But what if it's, we talked about RV and other programs, but what if a private entity comes in there, the Campgrounds of America comes in there and develops it? Do we get a larger tax base off of that? I don't want to see large residential construction, because that's hampering the school district, which just aids to the problem. But I think we just got to look at what the overall options are before we jump ahead and go, let's take this one off the tax rolls.
Absolutely. I do, though, want us to be careful, because I do think, you cite the 10 homes, $10,000, $100,000, right? It's not net $100,000 to the town, because if you built homes there, you have kids going to school, you have roads that need to be put in, you have snow that needs to be picked up, snow that needs to be removed, garbage that needs to be picked up. And there's actually some pretty decent research that shows for residential development, for every dollar that's collected in residential taxes, they require $1.15 in services. Schools are the largest driver of that. You look at Riverhead School District, it's averaging $19,000 per student that they're spending. I just want to be cautious against presenting land preservation as a net.
$10,000 is it is more geared towards a net of the town, and that's contributing to the budget, because there's very few houses that are paying $10,000. My home in Wading River is probably around $15,000.
Absolutely.
So there's it's significant.
But still, and this is there's a farmland trust that actually did this. It studied 26 communities, and the median was $1.15 for every dollar that was spent. Some communities went as high as $2. There is, yes, it increases your gross number, but your net number actually, I think more times than not, we see it challenging, right? And I think Western Suffolk kind of proves this. They have a ton of development there, a ton of people paying a ton of taxes, and it is. But I guess my concern with this particular parcel, right, is if it was up to me and we were starting this from the beginning, I would push really, really hard to maintain the farmland on the front there. That's not what my predecessor did, and I don't know why this deal was entered this way, but this is the deal before us.
So,
It's very easy. If you don't want to do this, I can just share to the EPA committee that Riverhead Town Board is firm in the idea that they don't want to manage the property. They don't agree with this. I just want to be clear with what that messaging is. We could explore going back to the beginning and looking at farmland preservation, but when deals have made their way this far, there is actually, and this was one of the things we were running into with the 4-H property, if this deal goes south, it's 5 years before we can kind of reevaluate it, at least in the current program. So this is not a perfect situation, but this is what we have before us.
If it was just developmental rights sold, that's a year out, 18 months. I don't think that's a 5-year plan.
So I think that there's a little bit of a spin that's being put here that, you've said several times that the town does not want to maintain the property. That is not the reason that I personally am opposed to this being open space. The reason is that this would open this property up to Riverhead residents. This does nothing for the residents of Riverhead. And just so that the board is aware, the current application that's in for the subdivision, I believe, is 5 houses.
4.
4, okay.
4.
It originally started out as, I think,
The
7.
deputy supervisor and I met with Matt Charters this morning, so the town board is aware those lots are to the westernmost portion of the property. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the remainder, because it's in the flood zone, there is no development yield. So this will not be developed, just the 4 lots. In addition, I just have to state for the record, as far back as August of 2025, I had requested from the county on this piece, can you provide some information on County Environment, Parks, and Ag Committee proposed uses and/or improvements for the property? Because while it stated open space, it talked about a maintenance partnership. Typically, in the town of Riverhead, when we preserve open space and we label it open space, that property is not going to be improved. It's natural, and the ecological features are left intact. When we, quote, improve properties for open space, we designate it open space passive recreation. So here, in all my correspondence back and forth with the county, it was labeled simply, straightforward, open space. Hence the inquiry dating back to August of 2025. What is the proposed plan that the EPA, the county, wanted the town to maintain? Like, it just has been unclear.
Okay, well, on that, I would just request that please include me on your correspondence to the county,
Right.
especially on preservation, whether it's farmland or open space. These are top priorities of mine, and if I can do anything to help you, please include me.
Right.
Right?
So-
So that's number one.
That was
Number
before-
2.
Before
Oh,
your
yeah,
term.
yeah, that was absolutely before my term.
It's not just one back and forth. It's more than one back and forth.
Absolutely. So I'm just saying, going forward, please include me. I do also want to say, and maybe I'm wrong here, and it's important to clear this up on the record, when Michael Kerr from Suffolk County called you to ask about management of this parcel, you did say Riverhead Town supported the preservation, but just not the management. So if that's untrue, I need to chase that down a little bit, because it seems like there's a little miscommunication here. But at least what was presented to the
All the
EPA.
communications.
Okay, at
That
least,
is incorrect.
all right.
And that's a misstatement.
Okay,
And the only, other than asking, what was the plan that the county wanted for the property? Even though they were calling it open space, it really appeared that they wanted some type of park use or hamlet park use. So the only communication was from me, I'm discussing it with the supervisor, the Department of Recreation. But I suspect additional time will be needed to get clear direction and provide a definitive statement. After that, by the supervisor, we requested, what is the project plan? What is the thought regarding the improvement of open space such that it would require maintenance?
Okay.
And you'd have to agree, if you're doing a walking trail, we would have to create the trail. If we're doing a walking trail, we'd have to create and pay for parking. And then we have to maintain those things.
Yeah.
But it's even unclear what is is desired.
Well, and again, this is just based on my experience in Southold, where we have on paper spent not more than $30,000 a year to manage 640 acres as part of this program. You know, it doesn't need to be, or at least in Southold, it hasn't needed to be a ton of money. I think, yes, absolutely.
That water that was connected, was that property connected to the water? That's 640 acres?
Some of it, yes. Yeah, some of it.
Did they create a parking lot with beach access in that?
So
In that
everything's
600
a little bit different.
No, I'm just asking
Yeah.
the example you're using. Did that
So
have that?
saying broadly, yes, some of them, yes, parking was created. I'm thinking down by Ashamomic Pond, there's one. I'm thinking there was just one that was done recently out on Paradise Point, Manassas, that there's no parking, but there is a trail down to the road. There's kind of flexibility on the parcels, right? And, you know, it is, I think that's one of the benefits, at least the way I see it, to having the town do the management, because ultimately you're the one who's doing it, right? If Suffolk County was willing to purchase this open space and do the management, it's their property. They could do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, that
You know, and for me, I don't think that's a good thing.
No, it's not.
And that's one reason that in Southold, we wanted to do the management, because it gave us control over our destiny. I think there's real benefits here. There are costs, but to me, a multi-million-dollar acquisition, you know, $10,000, $20,000 one time seems like a really good investment, especially in a particularly environmentally sensitive area.
Right, so where I'm a little bit, and you're right about
Yeah.
the $1.15.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of that study. I'm also aware that in Southold, you got a lot of second homes, which are now multi-million-dollar homes, and it's not putting anybody in the school. And that's why the school system there is shrinking. That's happening on a very slow scale here.
Okay.
You know, where people are buying, you know, $1.8, $2 million homes as second homes, which
Yep.
I'd like to see that proliferate a little bit more, and I think it will. However, on this particular piece, what is, it seems like, how complicated is it? And I'm not sure where I land on this, whether there should be a subdivision and understanding the tax thing, but I'm fine if there's 4 $2 million homes there and there's nobody in the school. But if we go from
It's going to be a lot
open-
more than $10,000 a year.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, but my point is this: how difficult is it to go from open space, which I am, to preserving, just to buying the development rights so it can be farmed?
It starts the process over again, right? It would need to go.
But I'm sorry, Greg, to interrupt, but you had said if we completely stop it, it's 5 years. But if we just morph it, as opposed to stopping it, what's the time
Yeah,
frame
and
there?
frankly, I don't know, right?
I'd like-
And,
yeah,
and,
that'd be good to know.
you know, this is kind of one of those things I can tell you just from a procedural level, where best case scenario, be like 18 months. By the time, you know, everything would need to be reappraised, you're looking at the development rights. There's the other big question, right? I would say if I was to place a bet, the reason they did open space rather than a development rights purchase is that the owner of the property wanted full fee money for it. He just wanted to be out from under it, right? So the other consideration here is not only what the town's priorities are, but the property owner's priorities. And my guess, and I don't know because this predated me, is that this owner said, you know what? I'm either going to do the subdivision or I'm going to sell this. I don't want to hold development rights and look for a farmer. You know, it's my understanding that it hasn't been farmed in at least 5 years, so probably some work needs to be done. It's probably not very marketable farmland because there's some floodplain. It's also kind of on the waterfront, so they're going to be paying the higher side. So we have a property owner that's only going to get part of what full fee money would be. So my guess, and I could be wrong here, is they probably weren't willing to do a farmland, development rights acquisition, right?
I'm going to tell you, I actually know the property owner personally, and I think that the property owner believed that it was farmland preservation, not understanding that this would open this area up to
Yeah.
non-Riverhead residents, because the property owner lives right down the road.
Yeah. Well, then I'd love to know why it was entered in as
That's,
a,
you know,
as
no,
open
I think,
space.
I think, to Joanne's point, she thought it was something other than what it is.
Yeah.
And you didn't know what it was,
Yeah.
and then it changed, so
Yeah.
I think we.
Well, I
need
know
a
what it
little bit-
is. We all know what it is.
No,
What's
we know
before
what
us?
it is now, but I need some time on this. This is not
Okay.
a decision that
Well,
I think we need to convene. as a
So
board.
the problem is the EPA committee is meeting on Monday, and they basically what I told them is I would approach the Riverhead Town Board to see if they would reconsider management on this. I do also, if the deputy town attorney is saying that she didn't tell Suffolk County that the town supported the preservation of this as open space, I kind of need to get to the bottom of that, because it was represented to the EPA committee that, number one, the town, Riverhead Town, supports the open space acquisition. Suffolk County is not going to acquire open space that the town doesn't want preserved. So that's number one. And number two, I will be clear to them that Riverhead Town does not want to manage this property. That's it. Number three, what are our options for potential development rights purchase and what that could look like?
And
So it
again, I'm
seems
going
like-
to reiterate that it is not that we do not want to maintain the property.
It's
It's
just this
that
property.
we do not want this property to be opened up to all the residents of Suffolk County.
We know where that's going to go. It's one of the reasons that the 4-H, so.
Okay.
To reiterate their point.
So I have a question for you. If the town came up with a project plan that was 2 dirt parking spaces, 1 mile of a grass trail, we'd have to mow it, spray it, and we'd keep it open just from May to September. Would that be an acceptable plan?
I can't speak for the Parks Department. What I can do is speak to my experience in Southold, and we have done similar sort of paths like that have been fine, right?
But that's, not knowing that puts the town at risk.
But this is also where you are an equal negotiating partner with Suffolk County, right? And on this particular parcel, I think you raise very legitimate concerns. Looking at the Manassas parcel in Southold that's out on the water, I think one of the reasons they didn't want to put a parking area there is looking at some of the issues that they had at Cedar Beach, which is a county park out in the same area. They didn't want to open it up, right? But they did want to preserve it. There's a walking path that people can use. I think you have a lot more control as a negotiating partner here than you think, and they're not going to require you to put in some big time parking lot. They're not going to require you to do this huge path, and really they're not going to give you a definite timeline on when all of this needs to be accomplished. I think that's the other really important point here. I know there's parcels in Southold that we have management agreements on that we're not even getting near to doing the work on, and Suffolk County is not concerned with that. It's just the long-range plan, and to me, it's also a long-range priority to open up access to these open spaces for the residents of our community. And I do, looking at some of the issues that we have with town beaches and county beaches, yes, you don't want it to be a hot spot for all of Suffolk County, right? But I think you can manage that with the number of parking spots, with the amenities that you're providing. So if it's a very, very simple trail and it's a 1 mile walk down to the beach,
Well, so
I don't think
I
people
don't foresee the town board creating a trail to this pristine beach area if it was a trail
I don't think
within
you need
the
to do
parcel.
I think you could do
just mentioned that, so
I was saying for sake of argument. That's what I said. I think similar to the other parcel we were talking about, it's a loop trail. It's a simple loop. If I were you, that's what I would propose on it. And that's what and to your point, I would do 2 or 3 dirt parking spots. That's what it is. It's a simple recreational trail. Your argument is based on your experience of the use of other town-owned and county-owned parks. We don't want to cut into the farmland with parking spots. I think you put a simple loop trail. I think you're looking at less than $10,000 that you would need to spend on this. And I think beneficially, and this is looking down the road, if you utilized even 1% of your CPF funds to partner with the county on this purchase, you could be using CPF funds to steward this property. And then there's 0 tax increase. I think that's one of the real benefits here.
So the town board has a decision to make whether or not you want to propose a plan and respond with what you would be willing to do as far as creation of improvements and maintenance versus the approved 4-lot subdivision moving forward with the remainder of the property essentially sterilized already from development due to the fact that it's in the flood zone. That's why the yield generated the 4 lots. So,
yeah, and that's the town board's decision. I really appreciate this opportunity to kind of talk through this. I think it's educational for the public to kind of,
I just want to bring up 2 things. So the Sharper Hill, it wasn't that the town, it was as soon as it's when the community knows that this is happening, the pressure didn't come from the county.
it came from the community.
It came from the community.
Yeah.
That's 1. 2, on your, so is there a percentage, I'm going to be hypothetical, the property is $2 million, the town puts up $100,000 of CPF funds, that gives us control? I mean, is there a percentage of CPF funds that we need to match in order to get the kind of control you're talking about where,
You would be doing the whole management agreement. It's my belief that even if you give $0, that ultimately you exercise control because hold on a second, right? The sequencing of this is very, very important. Like on this Sharper Hill deal, it was closed in 2018 with a vague promise by the Riverhead Town Board to say we'll manage it. It took them until 2024 to actually negotiate what that agreement is. If there's no agreement, you don't need to do anything. And the point you raise, it wasn't Suffolk County that was pressuring Riverhead Town to do A, B, or C. It's the community. I think it's the community that wants to utilize these parcels. I think for me, the strategic choice here, and this isn't under my purview as a legislator, but I would recommend that in the future you consider using some CPF funds to partner as a fee owner with Suffolk County, just 1%, right?
Oh, that's the number
Yeah,
I'm looking for.
just
Okay,
1%. So you actually have a legal interest in the property,
And we can.
and then you can use CPF funds. And according to the CPF law, you're allowed to use 10% of those funds in stewardship. If you're bringing in $10 million a year, that's $1 million that you could spend out of that fund on stewardship. That if the community, this is something that the community really wants, and I don't think it would really be on this parcel. I think it would be on some, I think there's a real opportunity, right? On this particular parcel, though, I think what's before you, and I think what's a really fine idea here, is you just to say, hey, we'll manage it. And then you just hold your feet firm in the sand that no, this is a loop trail we're doing. It's 3 parking spots. It's an environmentally sensitive area. We've seen from the use in other parks that we don't need all of this extra parking. We don't want to attract all kinds of people there. In South Old Town, we deal with the fishermen that are overnight camping on the beach and throwing their garbage over the place.
We do.
We don't want to deal with that, right? We want to have a simple walk-in loop. We don't want to disturb the wetlands or the beach. I think you have that power to define that. But it's not Suffolk County that's going to be arguing for more, it's the residents. And I think this is where overall having this broader discussion about open space use is really, really important.
All I can say is Sharper's Hill, actually there was a definitive plan before we went forward. I have all the series of negotiations between the county and the town on the different versions. Councilman Kern knows quite well. We had to keep stripping down because what was being asked of us, truly, we can't afford.
But we didn't use CPF funds on that.
Use solar benefit funds.
Correct.
So that did not give us the same ability to tap into the CPF fund to do. And then it became,
Right.
taxpayer
I'll also
money.
tell the town board, you have, to my knowledge, never collected $10 million in CPF a year. Our highest, most unique bonus year, I think, was just over like 9 million, for the record.
I was using Ken's $10 million number.
You're telling us we have till Friday to come back to you with a decision. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that we need to
Tomorrow you're going to?
discuss.
It's Monday. The committee meeting is,
I have to ask you, you say it's a 5-year plan, and we sit here on a Thursday and say we need an answer on Friday. Like,
No, Monday, but I'm saying we need.
Where's the breakdown here? Like, this is like suddenly now, like, we have 24 hours to figure out what the real tax base would be. How do you really consult with the residents in that area? Because I want to know what the Jamesport residents think about it. I'd like them to be able to come to a town board meeting and say, here's our benefits, here's our concerns. Because do the people living on those streets want a county park in place? I would tend to think probably not,
Okay.
But that's just my thought, but maybe they'll come out, but I think we need to be able to reach out to the residents in that area and really kind of learn what they're thinking.
absolutely.
And because it's very much a residential road there on Peconic Boulevard, so.
Well, I could tell you because I live right here.
Okay.
So I am very much engaged with the residents of Jamesport, and
What's the consent?
I could safely say that preserving that as open space and allowing people from outside of the town of Riverhead to utilize it, that is not going to go over very well. And I apologize that I've become aggressive. I'm very passionate about this.
No, you're passionate.
I think
That's
this
the
has been a
difference.
great conversation.
But there's a difference, remember. When you speak about open space, the proposal, it appears, from the county is open space park preserve, open space passive rec. A lot of our open space parcels, they are not accessible. They are simply preserved, intact, natural, no improvements. So it's a different,
It is, but you also have to consider the long-term road on this because you never know what if. It's basically out of our control.
Right.
And it's the county. And
So just to be fair, I think it is under your control if you have, and just like Sharper's Hill, you are the sole manager of that property. Yes, they approve it, and I think, maybe the solution here, right, and throw it back, and I'm just spitballing with you here. Maybe you throw it back on them that it's just passive recreation. You'll agree to cut the lawn in front of it, and if any trees fall over the road, that's what you'll do. That's what it'll be. it's environmentally sensitive, it's not appropriate for a large park, just say from the beginning that that's what you'll do. I think you're raising legitimate concerns. I guess, I guess my thought would be you could kind of get to that place by just saying you would do kind of a loop path, a few parking spots, and just kind of go from there. But tell them, hey, we'll do management, but it's just passive recreation.
Which means nothing. We're going to do nothing.
No parking spots.
No parking spots.
No parking spots. You'll agree to cut the lawn in front of it and any trees that fall down.
They can park in Councilwoman Waski's driveway.
Driveway, right?
But I have to tell you, with Sharpers Hill, we had like zero control. And I mean, we really had nothing. And I understand what you're saying about the time, the length of time, but I can tell you how much fighting that we had to do. I mean, how many times I was calling the county to get things signed, and again, we still don't have a sign, and we sent that for approval about a year and a half ago. So,
Well, again, with all of your requests that go to the county, please include me. I really do have the ability to expedite things. Yeah, for the record, right?
Yeah.
But maybe the solution here, it still doesn't deal with the farmland thing. Maybe you go back and say, yes, we'll do management, but it's just going to be passive recreation.
With no parking.
Yeah.
Nothing.
We would describe it to a T, what you're doing and what you're not doing.
Yeah.
Because it is
As long as that's binding.
Right, that's the thing. That's
I don't know if it is.
Well,
perpetuity.
it would, because the entire purchase by the county
predicated.
would be that partnership.
Yeah.
Accepting what we're proposing.
I think you can very easily do it, because in the resolution with that the Suffolk County Legislature ultimately passes, you do have whereas clauses, and in the whereas clause for Sharpers Hill, it just talks about the town agreeing to management. I think you could say the town agrees to passive management of the property with no parking, paths, or whatever, and that is binding. That is your whereas clause of the approving resolution. I'm not an attorney, but I think that's enough.
So that's the,
Yeah.
All right, we'll discuss it, and thank you thank you so much for coming in and addressing this, and
Yeah.
I think
It's great to see.
healthy. So that ends that, and so we'll, in just a second, we'll do first and second to enter into executive session, discuss the following. We have personnel matters surrounding possible change in status of. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my word, I skipped right. Greg was here so long, there's a big stack of paper next to me. Resolutions with our Deputy Supervisor Higgins, which, thank you all so much. I thought it was really good, Joanna. I think that you brought really good concerns. I don't think they were fake.
Thank you.
I'm still set up at the podium, so maybe I'll just sit here today.
I didn't
think so either.
find you aggressive.
Not at all.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, look who's sitting with us.
No,
Doing
big
resolutions.
kid table today.
Wow.
Guess what? You're never going to be back up there.
You're going to have to come on down from now on, so.
All right, everybody's ready? So resolution number 1, capital project 12503, Wading River Highway Building Adjustment. Resolution number 2, sewer district capital project number 82609, Northville Commons budget adoption. Number 3, water district capital project number 82303, 203 East Main Street budget adjustment. Number 4, water district capital project number 82308, well number 5-2A budget adjustment. Number 5, water district capital project number 82608, 645 Grumman Boulevard budget adoption. Number 6, water district capital project number 82610, RH Hamptons LLC hydrant replacement budget adoption. Number 7, authorizes removal of fixed assets. Number 7, accepts donation from Kenneth Rothwell, Alexander Rothwell Funeral Home for PAL.
Nice guy.
Resolution number 9 sets the fees for rental permit applications. Number 10 authorizes sewer district employees to attend seminar. Number 11 ratifies the authorization for 2 police department employees to attend a training. Number 12 sets salaries for 2026 recreation summer camp coordinator personnel. Number 13 rehires and sets salaries for seasonal employees and changes the status of current call-in employees to seasonal employees in the recreation department. Number 14 appoints seasonal personnel to the recreation department. Number 15 appoints a police officer to the police department.
Great police officer.
I know.
This could be the last.
We're going to miss him here in town hall, but
Yeah.
Good mornings every day.
Crowd favorite. He
he's
is
a fan favorite, that's for sure.
He's such a nice guy.
He
He's
is.
out there. We could.
I know.
We could embarrass him.
Yeah, let's embarrass him. Frank, could you grab Daniel?
The officer at the desk.
Bring him into the lion's den. Daniel. So.
Actually, take the desk, get the uniform. No.
That's right.
He's listening out there. He's probably mortified.
Yeah.
Come on in, officer.
Congratulations.
We want you full-time, but we want you at the desk.
Yeah, we're gonna try to figure out how to keep you here, but that's gonna be tough with the chief.
That's right. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, President.
Thank you very much for stopping in. Thank you.
Number 16 ratifies the appointment of a Fire Marshal 1. Number 17 ratifies the reclassification of a Maintenance Mechanic 2 to a Maintenance Mechanic 3. Number 18 accepts the resignation of a Maintenance Mechanic 2. Number 19 ratifies and accepts the resignation of a Traffic Control Specialist. Number 20 appoints Jonathan Sajecki to the Riverhead Farmland Preservation Committee. Number 21 appoints Megan Stettinger to the Senior Citizen Advisory Council. Number 22 appoints Sean Egan to the East Creek Advisory Committee. Number 23 appoints Kyle Conklin to the East Creek Advisory Committee. Number 24 appoints Charles Thomas to the East Creek Advisory Committee. Number 25 appoints Thomas Pichimsky to the East Creek Advisory Committee. Number 26 reappoints Gary Vogel to the Hispanic Development, Empowerment, and Education Committee. Number 27 reappoints Daniel Sullivan to the Hispanic Development, Empowerment, and Education Committee. Number 28 reappoints Stephen Azunian to the Hispanic Development, Empowerment, and Education Committee. Number 29 reappoints Grace Swift to the Senior Citizen Advisory Council.
Go Grace.
Another fan favorite. Yes. Number 30 reappoints Sarah Mayo to the Senior Citizen Advisory Council. Number 31 approves request for a leave of absence. Number 32 ratifies the extension of an unpaid leave of absence. Number 33 ratifies the approval of special event Chapter 255 application for Costco Wholesale CMN fundraising event. Number 34 approves special event Chapter 255 application for Muddy Princess, Muddy Kids, and Muddy Princess 5K obstacle course mud run. Number 35 approves special event Chapter 255 application for Wonderland Midway Family Carnival. This is, as I'm told, a new event, just so the board is aware. It's a proposed carnival to take place up at Tanger. Number 36, approve special event Chapter 255 application for Riverhead Chamber of Commerce cardboard boat race. Number 37, approve special event Chapter 255 application for Riverhead Chamber of Commerce, the 4th before the 4th. Number 38, approves fireworks application for Riverhead Raceway Special FX Wizard. Number 39, authorizes the supervisor to enter into an agreement with the CSEA to restructure the titles within the Water District. And we have Water District Superintendent Frank Mancini here.
No, I know what it is. Okay.
Number 40, authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Suffolk County to reuse effluent water for the Indian Island Golf Course.
Excuse me, did they get back to us on that, or?
They have not, so
Okay, all right.
we're gonna keep pushing it until, and then we may have to table it if they don't. So.
Yep, okay.
But does this include the agreement to cover our costs?
Yes, absolutely. So, yes.
Number 41, authorizes the supervisor to, I'm sorry.
Did you have another question about it?
No, I just want to make sure that we're actually covering our costs, which we're currently not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we have
it's costing us a significant amount of money to take care of the county golf course. So they need to just chip in and cover that cost.
Absolutely.
Number 41, authorizes the supervisor to execute a license agreement with the East End Disability Associates, Inc. for property located at River Road, Calverton, and known as the Henry Pfeiffer Community Center. Number 42, authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement authorizing the town to accept funds from Suffolk County Office for the Aging to supplement the town's shopping assistance program for the elderly 2026. Number 43, ratifies the authorization for a supervisor to execute a stipulation with an employee. Number 44, authorizes pursuit of Suffolk County Downtown Revitalization Round 24 funding for the beautification of Wading River duck ponds. Number 45, awards bid for installation of water mains at 203 East Main Street, Riverhead Water District.
Just want to step back just for a second. So when we talk about the beautification of Wading River duck ponds, that was, I did a nice presentation with them last Thursday at the Wading River Civic Association. They were showing the drawings and it kind of explained the whole process. And we need to utilize the Civic Association to be a co-sponsor on the grant application process for it. So it's not something which the town on their own can apply for that funding. We've got some great feedback from the county as well to try to get that application, and so we're keeping our fingers crossed. And thank you, Dawn Thomas, and they're doing a great job. But we're hoping to move that project forward. It would include some curbings, sidewalks, plantings, and the lighting in there along there. It's a great first step, and of course, phase 1 and then phase 2 of eventually dredging the ponds, replacing all the bulkhead, which is a much larger scale, and that we're working excellent with an agreement with Brookhaven Town, and that's where we're hoping to get federal funding, which would probably be in the range of $3.5 million to complete that whole project. So we are making headway with the Wading River duck ponds.
And you showed me the renderings last week. Beautiful.
It
It's
is.
going to be such a beautiful place for people to go.
Yep. Exciting.
Well done.
Okay, 45, awards bid for installation of water mains at 203 East Main Street, Riverhead Water District. Number 46, awards bid for rebid for PFAS treatment at well number 5-2A, SRF project number 19591, Riverhead Water District. Number 47, resolution authorizing the Community Development Department to submit applications to the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation for Sewer Department infrastructure grants. Number 48, authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice of public hearing to amend Chapter 231 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Fire Prevention, Article 4, Mitigation of Hazardous Condition or Occurrence. 49, authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice of public hearing to amend Chapter 301 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Zoning and Land Development, Part 3, Supplementary Regulations. I didn't look the Roman numeral up, L111. I don't know what that is.
52.
Oh, yeah, 52? Okay. Commercial solar energy production systems. Number 50, authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 213 of the Riverhead Town Code titled Bicycles and Electric Scooters, Article 2, Electric Scooters. 51, authorizes town clerk to publish and post notice for a public hearing to amend Town Code Chapter 301, Article 17, entitled Business F, Zoning Use District, Manufacturer Outlet Center Overlay Zoning. Yes. Number 52, schedules public hearing for the amended site plan application of Scotts Point, a.k.a. Island Water Park, 5835 Middle Country Road, Calverton, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-135-1-7.34. And Resolution 53 pays the bills.
Thank you, Deputy. Appreciate your time. So with that, thank you for catching me before. With that, we will, just in a second, take a first and second to enter to executive session to discuss the following: personnel matters, matters surrounding possible change in status of employees with HALPIN, DIPAOLA, and PEAKER, matters surrounding change in status of employee with Counselor Howard, contractual matters surrounding contractual agreement between the Town of Riverhead and Kevin Wood, parking consultant with Merrifield and Thomas, matters surrounding contractual agreement and for services related to coordination and planning of a Lab on 25 for 2026 with HALPIN, WASKI, and DIPAOLA, and matters surrounding possible change in contractual agreement with an employee with our lovely TOCCI and Howard and STRIPLIN-TIO. Can I have a first and second to enter into executive session? All in favor?
Business Improvement District, get to work. Great
See you
job.
next week.
Thanks.